clashes that reignited along the Thai-Cambodian border have entered a second day as a weeks-old U.S.-backed peace deal hangs in the balance.
Both sides are trading blame for the renewed hostilities and breaching the ceasefire agreement. 4 Cambodian civilians died, according to authorities. Thailand reported 1 soldier killed.
Both countries also reported evacuating hundreds of thousands of people. The fighting is said to be the fiercest since July, when a 5-day border battle killed more than 40 people.
Well, Erik Martinez Kuhonta is Associate Professor at the Department of Political Science at McGill University. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, Professor. I want to start by asking you about this fragile, truce. Has it effectively collapsed, or is it on its last legs, perhaps? I mean, we have all those comments coming from the Thai Prime Minister, Anutin. He says he doesn't even remember the peace deal he signed in October anymore. His chief of staff wants to render Cambodia incapable of military action for a long time. And we have Hun Sen, in the meantime, talking about the crossing of red lines.
Yes, I think this ceasefire and then this peace agreement, the ceasefire that occurred in July after 5 days of fighting, and then this peace agreement that came out at the ASEAN summit in October, at the end of October, this was always on very thin ice. It was very fragile. And even at the ASEAN summit, Thailand made very clear that they didn't even want to call it a peace agreement. So Thailand, I think, has shown very clear signals that that they were not exactly in the mood for making peace, but with the pressure from Trump regarding tariffs, they agreed to do that. So yes, I think it is in the last legs of it, but I think from the very beginning it was not likely to stand for very long.
Professor, both governments are presenting very sharply different timelines as well as claims of provocation. I wonder how you read these conflicting narratives. Which side is more likely driving this escalation?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good and tough question in the sense that both sides are creating accusations that that the other one is at fault for this latest renewal of hostilities. What I think is clear, though, is that that Thailand has the upper hand. That is patently clear. Thailand has much stronger armed forces. They have these F-16 jets that have the capacity and have bombed Cambodia. Their defense budget is 5 times larger than Cambodia. So Thailand has the capacity really to set the tone here, and as was mentioned, in fact, the Army Chief of Staff wants to paralyze for the long term the Cambodian armed forces. So regardless of who started the hostilities in this latest clash, there is no question that Thailand is going to set the agenda given their more powerful armed forces.
And do you see the same thing happening as we saw in July, the military might on display with the use of jets, as you just mentioned? That was one factor, a very important factor that stopped that 5-day border war in July. Do you see exactly the same thing happening, meaning Cambodia will say, okay, look, well, I have no choice, I have to come and talk to you?
Yes, I think it's very, very hard not to see the same scenario coming across because Thailand simply has that air power that Cambodia doesn't have, and Cambodia cannot retaliate with the same kind of force. So at a certain point, unless ASEAN really gets involved in lowering the tensions, this is really it's gonna be Thailand's firepower that will determine the outcome here. And from the rhetoric that's coming out of Anutin, from other Thai politicians, it's very clear that Thailand wants to push this hard, and so it's at a certain point up to UNRWA and ASEAN to step in if they want to really bring this to some kind of to reduce the violence here.
Right. Prof, I want to ask you a bit more about that. Is it really ASEAN and UNRWA? Is it not really more about, Trump stepping into the fray once more? Or do you feel that he's moved on to other concerns like Ukraine and his self-declared war against Venezuela?
Yeah, well, the last time it was Trump Trump with ASEAN that made a difference, and the threats of tariffs. And of course, Trump is intent on that Nobel Peace Prize, so he seems to have some kind of interest in trying to appear to be resolving these armed conflicts around the world. He could get involved again. Hard to say, given what's going on with his own challenges domestically as well as globally. But in saying that, I think ASEAN has to really play a stronger role here. Ultimately, while great powers are important, ultimately, ASEAN is the regional body that is closest to the conflict, and Anwar has shown that he really wants to play an important role as leader of the region, and so here is an opportunity to do that. So dialogue is crucial, but I think it's very difficult now because Thailand's rhetoric is very heightened.
Okay, I mean, there are worries, Professor, that this conflict could trigger broader instability. I wonder how real is the risk of a regional spillover?
Well, I mean, beyond the border itself of Thailand and Cambodia, I don't think that this is going to go much beyond that fighting, that area, the geographical zone. This is a geographical zone that has flared up in the past, in 2008, and after that as well. So this is a recurring issue because Thailand is very unhappy with the way the border has been demarcated. And the way that the International Court of Justice has agreed with Cambodia. But beyond this area, this geographical zone, I don't think it should expand further than this.
All right, Professor Kuhonta, we'll have to leave it there. Hopefully some common sense prevails. Erik Martinez Kuhonta, Associate Professor of the Department of Political Science at McGill University.